Welcome everybody to another edition of the $100 million producer panel, and Andrew's here. I wasn't sure if Andrew was going to be here right away. He was having some internet tech issues this morning, and so I was going to start the show and then have him come in late, but he's here and he's not freezing on me, so I think we're good.
Yeah, I switched it up to my phone. For some reason, my computer was not having it today, so I'm just here on the phone. The microphone won't be as studio quality, but we're going to make it work.
Yeah, that's all that matters. Hey, I always wonder, like when I have, because it's been the week of internet challenges for a few of us this week, and I always wonder if like Tim Cook and Bill Gates and these guys have these same issues. I'm guessing they do, but I'd love to know. If I ever got a chance to interview Tim Cook, that'd be one of the first things to say, like, dude, do you still have issues like we do? So.
Yeah, do you have just the basic issues like not connecting to the internet, But yeah, happy Friday, everybody. So excited to be back here. I don't know, Todd, Todd and I, we talk about this sometimes, but like we never talk about this show before we do the show. Like we have no idea what our topics are. And one topic that I've just been brewing on, if you follow me on Facebook, I put a reel on Facebook about it this morning, is so many people right now. I'm in all these Facebook groups with loan officers. I see the stuff that's going on, and there's so much negative energy. There's so much mindset shift that is going on right now. And I want to talk just briefly about controlling what you can control. Every person has a finite amount of energy. Sure, maybe there's a few unique people out there that have unlimited energy, but we all wake up every day and we have a pile of energy, a bucket of it. And if you spend the first 3, 4, 5 hours of your day stressing about stuff you can't control, markets, whatever it might be that you can't control, the amount of energy lost to get out and do what needs to be done is just shocking. And I'm just seeing it everywhere. Like, control what you can control. You may not control where the bond market goes today. It's not a pretty day. But worrying and anxiety about that, it's just going to give you analysis paralysis. And what you need to do is what you can control. Pick your phone up. Dial 50 realtors today. Don't waste any amount of energy on stuff that's outside of your control.
Yeah, so true. And also 90% of the things you don't control are hitting everybody you compete with. I mean, the markets, the MBS prices, the, Fannie Mae's guidelines, the, AUS, whatever it is, 90% of those uncontrollable things are hitting your competition too. So, it's not just you, and the things that are you that you do control, those are the things you need to work on.
Correct. And if they're hitting your competition, there's a high probability they're hitting your competition and they're wasting their energy worrying about it. So you want to set yourself apart from the pack. Wake up in the morning, check the markets. If they're another dog day like we're having today, stop looking at the markets, pick out your top 20 realtors you want to have a conversation with today, and pick your phone up and do what your competition's not doing. Get out there and start to push that envelope on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And a good example of that, besides today's markets, is, it was announced today that Home Point's officially been sold to the Loan Store. I think I should know they are. They're here in Arizona, but I've really got very little information on them at this point. I saw a lot of negative posts on Facebook, from people like, oh, Home Point was my number 2, but it's like, you know what? There's hundreds of other lenders out there. Who cares? If Home Point is your number 2, then use UWM or Windsor or EPM or one of the other great wholesale lenders out there. But it doesn't matter. There's 100 other wholesalers waiting to pick up the slack on the Home Point sale.
Yeah, and did we not expect that to happen? Not Home Point exactly, but in this market where we're downsizing from a $4+ trillion market to a 1.7, $1.9 trillion market, do we really expect to have our cake and eat it too? Every lender that we've worked with in the past is just going to remain around and remain unprofitable? No, this is the year of closures and mergers and acquisitions. So get ready for it. If you're losing your steam in the business over Home Point, this is one of many that will come to pass this year.
Yeah, I would love to go, and I'd love to take all the names of the people that were panicked over this and look up their date that they got into the industry, because I'm 99% sure they all got in the industry after 2009. because I look at this as like, here, hold my beer. In 2008, we had this thing called the implodometer, and literally every day there was 3 or 4 new lenders going on that implodometer that just poof, they were gone overnight. So this is a
Yeah. And in that case, there wasn't a lot of people picking those flags up because every lender was in the same bucket. Here, there's people waiting in the wind for the business. It's just going to be, it's going to be the story of 2023. It's what we're going to deal with. And I'm excited. I'm excited for where this market's going. For me, I'm seeing such an uptick in business and an uptick in activity. I don't know, people watching this are seeing the same thing, but our volume on our team month over month is just doubling and doubling and doubling. It's an exciting time to be in the business.
No, it is. It's great because this is the time. This is the market we're in now, is where those that are purely focused on growth and winning get bigger and better. And those that dwell on every little negative story and let it eat at them, those are the ones that contract, and a lot of them will leave the business, or a lot of them will go out of business. And it's why UMortgage is growing so fast right now. I mean, and not to make this all about UMortgage, but we're growing at a rapid pace because of the market. I mean, and because we're great at what we do, but a lot of people are like looking at us now saying, hey, you guys are growing when everybody else is shrinking. What do you guys got going on? So the market's helping us. I mean, we're having record month after record month after record month. And a lot of that is due to the great people we have working for us, but also a portion of it is due to the competition being distracted while we're not. And I can say as a company, we're not distracted by all this noise. We really aren't.
It is simply, put your chin down and move forward. It's a mentality I've had for a long time in business. I used to get people that would ask me these just, harebrained questions like, oh, did you see that this lender in, Jacksonville, where I was living at the time, this lender in Jacksonville got caught doing this? And I'm like, I don't even know who that lender is. And they're like, oh, he's one of the biggest in the city. And I'm like, I don't spend any amount of my time focusing on my competition. Like, all I'm doing is looking out the windshield of what's in front of me, where I'm going, and what I can tackle next. Living your life looking out a rearview mirror is a miserable way to be, because that's how Jerome Powell lives his life. And I don't think anybody wants his freaking position in life right now.
Boy, that's a can of worms right there to talk about. But how can you be at such a high level and be so incompetent? And it's not, I wouldn't even say it's just Jerome Powell. It's almost all the Fed chairmen, and it's the previous one, Janet, and it's I think Greenspan was maybe the last decent one we had. And, it's mind boggling to me that these guys are so disconnected, and very appreciative about this all the time. But
yeah, I've only known the knowledge I know because of Habib on these things. But yeah, they're simply, they are the definition of operating looking out the rearview mirror. They're just waiting to see what damage and destruction they've caused to decide that it's time to slow down. And it's a scary, scary world that they're operating in. I wouldn't want to be in their shoes because, with you start to see bank failures, you start to see these things happening. Is it enough? Is it not enough? Yet the labor market is just resilient as can be right now. And so, we're going to be in my opinion, on markets wise, you're going to be in for a wild ride for a bit longer. And so if you're sitting, just waiting for the moment when markets calm down, you're going to be waiting. Don't be the person that waits to do what needs to be done because you're paralyzed by anxiety of what's going on right now. Simply get out and do what needs to be done to continue to grow your business in this market, because there is business to do. There's a lot of it, and we're seeing it. Just moving the team, resetting the team, the amount of loan officers we've been able to add over the last 90 days and the volume pickup we're starting to see, it's going to be amazing to see the growth pattern we start to put together on this. And it's all mentality. This is nothing to do with I'm a better loan originator than Johnny down the street. This is a mental game this year. And if you can remain mentally strong, you're going to succeed, because many will not remain mentally strong.
Yeah, Absolutely. And again, it's there's a great meme out there of Michael Phelps swimming and being way ahead of everybody, and the other guys are all looking at him. Or just use horse racing example. Look at horse racing. I mean, they have blinders on these horses for a reason, because horses are animals. You can't reason with them to say don't be distracted by the horse next to you. So you put blinders on to keep them focused on the finish line, not on what's going on either side of them. And again, that's a lesson every loan officer can learn, because it's so easy to get distracted. It's so easy to get in the weeds. I mean, I think I do a good job of it, but I'm not 100% immune to it. I get distracted. I get in the weeds sometimes too. It's just, you got to be that guy that stays out of it as much as possible.
Yeah. And there's a million distractions. It isn't just a negative mindset that is the distractions. We are in such, just look at how tech in the mortgage industry has evolved over the last 5 years. How much simpler things are being done now just due to tech. But the reality is, if you're relying on tech, if you did a crappy job before, you're just going to do a crappy job faster.
Yeah.
I talk about it all the time. Loan officers have shiny object syndrome. Like, they think that next, app for their phone, that next piece of software is going to be the thing that finally pushes them over the hill of success. And no, it goes all the way back to the fundamentals of putting together a good file, treating your customers right, having amazing communication, and then utilizing the tech stack that's available to improve that efficiency. Otherwise, you're just doing really crappy business really fast.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I've been one of the more low tech guys out there without the shiny objects for that very reason, because it's just distracting. I mean, some of the tech is fantastic. I mean, I look at how I write a loan today versus how I did 20 some years ago when I got into business. And it's amazing where we're at today, where we were, going back to the days of having to make 2 full copy packages, bind them into a manila folder of one on each side, put it into an airborne or a FedEx box. I mean, all that was just so cumbersome. So the tech world has made our jobs so much better, but again, it's also made it so much worse with the distractions. And it's not just the mortgage world. I mean, I feel for young people nowadays, especially young women who have to go on Instagram and see these perfect lives of people. Same thing with loan officers. I mean, these loan officers are on Facebook bragging about the latest tech gadget. I'd love to see what the results really are from that, and I got a couple of friends there, like shiny objects people. I know a few good friends in this business that they buy every piece of tech that comes down the pike, and then within a year, they're usually saying, yeah, it was a waste of money. So
yeah. No, and we live in a society, we're in a really, in my opinion, a society that's really in a unique spot where everything is faster. I was in, I forget which city I was in. There were 3 drive-through lanes at a Chick-fil-A. Not 2 this time. Now they've got 3 of them. Like, everything is faster. But in this society where we're using, speed to our advantage on everything, there's also a huge subset, if not the majority of people, that want old school communication.
Yeah.
They want someone to pick a phone up. And so the greatest and latest tech stack may make your life easier, but it may end up making the overall experience for the consumer a lot worse. Like, personally, for me, any loans I originate, I turn off all automated email communication. I don't send out automated emails. I send them out to the borrowers sometimes, but never the real estate agents. Why? Because I want to pick the phone up. I want to have a real conversation with them. I don't want to just, hey, it's Andrew, here's the status of your loan. Hey, how's your day going? What stressors can I relieve for you? You guys got any buyers coming in over the weekend? I want to have real conversations, because tech doesn't create a relationship. Tech will perfect your process, but it does not help you create a relationship. A relationship is built face-to-face or over the phone, old school stuff. So be wary of just being the guy that's got the fanciest tech stack with the coolest emails. I don't care if they're video emails. If you're going to do that, go to a BombBomb platform and personalize it. Do a personalized video for a conversation. I have a couple real estate agents that are probably going to watch this, and they know who I'm talking about. If I get them on the phone, it's a 45-minute conversation. they receive a lot of bombs from me because I don't have 45 minutes to get into that every time. But don't just rely on tech, because you'll lose the relationship piece of this whole business.
Yeah, no, absolutely. In fact, last night, when I got in my car to go pick up dinner, one of my realtors had texted me, and I called her back and we started talking. We talked the whole way to where I was picking up dinner, the whole way home, about nothing. It wasn't about a loan. She was just asking my advice on something, but it was just the idea of keeping that connection. And, there was no reason to talk, but it just solidifies that relationship. But more importantly, another great lesson in this is, I can't tell you how many loan officers I've asked after the loan closes, what do you do? Oh, I sent an email. Okay, well, did you call them? No, I just sent an email thanking them. Why aren't you calling people? Call them. Wait. I never call them the day of closing because they've got a lot on their plate. They're probably trying to move, but I usually wait like 3 or 4 days. I do send them an email the day they close saying, congratulations. But every single customer, 3 or 4 days later, I will call them and just say, hey, I want to personally thank you for your business. By the way, is there anything you have questions about? And I hear from loan officers all the time that, well, no, I just sent an email and then I forget or whatever. That is crucial to building relationships, is making that phone call. And, and one of the things that I'll touch on there is, there's a local restaurant here. There's a few of them around the country in the West Coast called Mastro's. It's a high-end steakhouse, great steakhouse. Every single time I've dined there on Monday or Tuesday after the weekend, somebody calls me from there and just says, hey, how was your meal? How was everything? Now, again, it's a high-end restaurant, so they should. But you know what? Why couldn't some of the other restaurants do that? But it sets apart. It makes me, even though they have great food and great service, it always strikes me, they really, really do care that they have this girl. Imagine how many people they're calling. I mean, how many people eat there on a night? They're making, probably for the weekend crowd, they're probably making 500 phone calls,
per restaurant.
And they're
per restaurant.
Yes. And it's always somebody in the local restaurant. It's not somebody from corporate. It's always one of the ladies that you will call. If I call the one in Scottsdale, the city hall one in Scottsdale, and it'll be the same voice that's calling me on Monday to ask how my dining experience was, that I called on Thursday or Wednesday to make the reservation for Saturday night, every time.
Yep. And if you choose to take your wife out to dinner and you have an option of Mastro's or Ruth Chris, that little phone call makes your decision for you. It's Absolutely. The little things. It's the little things. And I like to do the same thing. So past client or post-closing phone calls, I typically wait 4 or 5 days. And then I'm going to call them. And what I've always tried to do is get personal information from the clients throughout the transaction. I've added them. I added it in Salesforce, and I have like a whole personal notes section. And so what I'll do is I'll, hey, you got any pets on an intro phone call? You got any pets? Oh yeah, we've got a cat. Oh, what's her name? I get a cat's name or I get a dog's name. If it's a primary residence, I will get on the phone 4 days later and I'm like, hey, I always ask them if it's primary, hey, have you guys moved in the house yet? I know, horrible experience. Did everything get in? You guys break anything? And then I say, hey, how does Fido like the backyard? I bet he's absolutely loving it. And you want to talk about just sealing a relationship, that if it's a rental property, you guys find renters for it yet? I know it's a crazy market around here. You guys found any renters? I've got great realtors that may be able to place someone there. If you need help, let me know. This is going beyond, I closed a mortgage for you. Hey, just checking in. How's everything going? No, get personal with your clients. Take that extra 15 minutes of your life to get to know who they are, what they do. Why are you buying the house? Oh, for the schools, for school district. How old are your kids? Oh, I have a 15-year-old daughter. That's awesome. What school should he go to? Oh, she'll probably end up in class with my daughter. That's so cool. We should get together. Have these personal conversations, and you're going to end up with a client for life.
Yeah. And asking the pet names is golden, because a lot of people will talk about their pets more than they will their kids sometimes. I mean, people are very attached to their animals.
Guilty as charged.
I've got, you can't see it on camera, but I've got one looking through my glass door right now. Our black cat. We have 2 cats, and Good example of customer service, Chewy. We order a lot of our cat supplies through Chewy, which is the online version or the Amazon version of PetSmart. They literally have you fill out a little survey card when you set up your account with them about your pets. We get birthday cards at our house for our cats from Chewy.
I know.
I mean,
I get the same thing.
Yeah,
and they will actually send you, because it's happened to one of my friends. They called and discontinued the automatic dog food shipment because their dog had passed away, and they sent a bouquet of flowers with condolences to the house for the dog passing away. That is not cost effective for a company to do that. Like, it's not cost effective to ship $40 worth of flowers to a home of a client that's no longer going to use you. But the story that's told of that to 25 people that become clients for life is where it becomes cost effective. And so sometimes it's going above and beyond when it doesn't make sense to do it. It doesn't make financial sense initially, but it's positioning yourself in a position where people consider you more than just a vendor. They consider you a friend. They consider it a relationship.
And again, that's one of our biggest core values here is relationships, not transactions. And again, I would suspect that every top producer out there, or almost every top producer out there, builds their database on relationships. I mean, I do know one particular guy that all he does is refis, and probably not building a lot. And he's probably even building some relationships, but that is why it's one of our core values here, is because it's so important. And the second one being experience is everything. If you give experience, that allows you to build relationships. And if you have those two of our five, you're going to go a long way in this business.
Yep. I couldn't agree more. And that's the message that I'm delivering down to my team, across the board. Like, I'm flying out next week into multiple markets to go sit down with all my teammates. And that's the message I'm pushing forward is, here's the client intake form. And there's questions on there like, do you have any pets? Do you have any kids? What's your favorite thing about the area you're moving to? Why are you moving to this area? Those are questions you're asking to get to know someone, so you have the ability to connect with them on a different level than just the transaction. If all you're doing with your clients is talking to them about interest rates and discount points and closing costs, you're in this for the entirely wrong reason. And the reality is you're going to make substantially less money doing it that way.
Yeah, and that's true. I mean, you hear people all the time saying, well, I'm really into to help people and I don't care about the money. If you truly believe that, the money follows. I mean, if you come into this business looking just to make X number of dollars and you aren't worried about building those relationships, you're never going to make those X number of dollars, or you might once and then you'll have a bad year and up year. But to be consistently having good year after good year after good year, without those relationships, you'll never do it. And again, you can tell the people that really truly care. You can tell there's a big difference. Those are same loan officers out there helping others for with nothing expected in return. Versus
100%.
the guy that all he does is post about how great he is on Facebook. And there are some of them out there.
No, not in this industry. They'd never be out there.
Imagine that.
I just ordered yesterday. I just ordered 5,000 custom printed thank you cards for my team, and they're going to be handed out to every single loan officer. And my expectation of my loan officers on my team is that you write a handwritten thank you card at minimum once a day. At minimum once a day. If you sit down and you meet with the real estate agents and they gave you their time to meet with you, you write them a thank you card. For every client that applies to get pre-approved with you, we've got a budget set up for $5 Starbucks gift cards with a handwritten thank you note with a cardstock copy of their pre-approval to send home to them. Like, this is the level you play at if you want reoccurring business. And you said it perfect. You may have a good year. In 2020, everyone had a good year. But if you want substantiated, continued good years, it's not about transactions. It's all about the relationship.
Yeah. I tell you what, if you want to see who had relationships and who didn't, just pull up the Scotsman. The Scotsman guide for the year 2022 was just released this past week. If you go back and pull the 2020 and 2021 and then compare it to 2022, you're going to see guys like me that had their volume drop, but you're also going to see some people that were near the top in the top 500, or let's say from 2021, that are nowhere to be seen on those lists in 2022. You know, I think we all saw our volume drop off last year, but
Everyone did.
yeah, but how much did it drop off? You know, I only really originated 9 months of last year, and I still ended up over 40 million. So had I focused full time on origination, I would probably end up about 70 million, because I worked basically 9 months. Plus, I was doing a lot of travel for different AIM events and stuff. So,
Yeah.
Which would have been about 30% drop, you know, but 30% was good.
Yeah, and the same thing here. I handed off all of my deals last year, with the exception of probably 8 million. I handed off everything to my team, but when it all circled back, it was about 68 million closed in the year. So off of 2022's or 2021's numbers of 94. So yeah, 18-20% drop off. That's going to happen in market cycles.
Yeah.
But you're dead right. You can look at the Scotsman guide and see the guys that did 600 million, and then they're not on the list. That's a transaction setup. That is not a relationship setup, because relationships don't fall apart over a poor year. There's just less business to go around.
There's a big, I don't like to mention other companies' names, so I won't, but there's a big tech-driven company out there that has that's one letter off from my last name. I'll just leave it at that. Okay. And in 21, they had probably 50 of the top 200, maybe I'm a little exact, probably 30 of the top 200 spots on the Scotsman guide. And they probably had 10 of the top 50. And this year I looked, and I think there's like maybe 3 of them. You know,
it's a crazy drop off. And we all know the company. We all know how that goes. But I think we're almost out of time. Look at this. 30 minutes goes by fast.
Goes by fast when you're having fun. So
it does.
Yeah. Anything to leave us with, Andrew?
You know, I'm just going to say it, what I started with, because there's probably people that hopped on halfway through. This is a time where it is challenging in this business. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. These aren't just easy days every single day. The markets are wild, this and that. Focus on what you can control. Don't waste your energy on stuff you can't. Don't try to control the markets. Don't have anxiety over stuff that's impacting everyone equally. Go out and do systematically the things that need to be done. Don't call 20 of your past clients today and then not do it again for 3 weeks. Call 10 a day, every day. Call 5 a day, every day. Call 3 realtors every day. You don't have to call 40 every Monday. Call 5 every single day, because if you do 40 every Monday, you're going to skip every 3rd Monday. And if you just did 5 a day, you'd end up ahead. So just get out there and control what you can control. Focus your energy on it, and let's roll forward.
Yeah. And remember, it's a holiday weekend coming up. So besides having a great Easter, today, more like every Friday, send out that text or that email to your real estate partners and let them know, hey, I'm here for you if you need me this weekend. I get some of you guys may be traveling for Easter for family. And if you are, let your realtor partners know. But let them know one way or the other, I'm either available or I'm not available, because the worst thing that can happen is if you don't tell them that you're unavailable because you're going to Aunt Betty's house in Tucson, that realtor part, when they can't get a hold of you, is going to think you're ghosting them. So again, I love the we work when you work mentality that we use with realtors. So get out there this weekend as a call to action. Today, not this weekend, get out there today. Let your real estate partners know if you're available or unavailable for this weekend, and wish them a happy Easter, just to have a touch point with them.
That's it. Answer your damn phones, guys. I stole it.
There you go. Have a great weekend.
Take care, guys.
Thanks.